feel about this. So, yeah, I mean, I appreciate what you're saying, but from my perspective, they've been trying to, quote, fix the educational system for at least 60 years. And what they're doing isn't working, you know? So, I mean, we could
That's
talk
because it
more.
all goes to salaries and pensions, and they need to strip it all away.
Yeah. Well, it's a rather complex subject, and I think we could go deeper into that, but I'm trying to get over a cold, so I should go to sleep.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it is complex, and I'm not an educator, but just from what I've seen, I've noticed a pattern of, the kids who rank the highest are the ones who have, more funding, more so than states that have lower funding, especially when it comes to rural schools and disabled kids and that sort of thing. When they have more resources, they do better.
Well, look, we're both in the same state, so you know the history of the education here. And I think the problem is, I won't get into specific, well, I'll just say it, what the hell. We're all friends now. When they look at the average time students are studying, on average, Asian students do 13 hours of homework per week. Everyone else, the average is 5 hours per week. Now, I'm saying it. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that if a student is doing 7 hours more homework per week than his peers, he or she is going to be doing much better in school.
That's ridiculous, Alan. That is not true. That's a lie. We need to increase the funding so people will study more and be more like Asians. You right. You wrong and right, Alan.
Well, Asians are living in a different kind of society.
This has to do with parenting.
Well, yes.
No, that's not the teacher's fault. It's the parenting. My parents, as I was raised, understood that education was the great equalizer. Hence, my siblings and I knew how to read.
Yeah, but my mom and my dad like Netflix, and that cuts into my 5 hours of studying. I don't want to be like an Asian. Let the Asians be Asians. I want to watch Netflix and Hulu and TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. I don't care about studying. Just send my teacher and my administrators more money from the taxpayers. Thank you all very little.
It's the parents' job to raise their children, not the teacher's job. The parents' job, when the child is born, all the way before school. So before school.
So what the fuck is the point of paying these teachers? Gets back to my original point. Cut the funding.
The point of paying teachers is to teach children, but not to raise them.
But the child goes home and spends 5 hours studying nothing, can't pass the reading test. Meanwhile, the Asian kid is reading 13 hours because his parents are like, "You going to read this shit or you're not going to have dinner, Timmy?"
Well, you know what? I can agree that parenting is a factor. I was just telling someone earlier today that when I broke my ankle when I was in school, my parents paid a tutor for 6 weeks to come and tutor me. But the thing about it is that there are countries like South Korea, Singapore, Finland. They don't rely on parents. They invest in what I said before: teacher training, tutoring support, smaller classes. We lag behind because I believe too that there are fewer resources to support these kids. I mean, even parents can't make up for underfunded schools. You replace a trained teacher, modern textbooks. Okay, I remember schools that do, the kids are using the same textbooks and they can't even take them home to do their homework. So it's a reason why students in well-funded schools perform better across all demographics. If you're in an overcrowded school, you got 45, 50 kids to one teacher, underfunded classroom, it's only so much that the parents can do. And when there was one individual that tried to crack down on parents because of truancy, she got a whole lot of flack because of it. Because people didn't care in the community, the parents didn't care. So you had an attorney general that gave a damn, and look how much heat she got.
Yeah, she tried to arrest a poor girl who had a fucking serious disease, and so he sent the police to go arrest the poor little girl's mother, stick her ass in jail. Say, Kamala Harris, don't you defy me. You're truant student, I don't care how 6 years, I'm arresting your ass.
That's only
she wasn't even in that region. She was in Northern California at the time. The woman was taken in, but she was not arrested, and they had reached out to her. This was an isolated incident, and she did admit that there were some unintended consequences, but I'm talking about the intent behind the program itself. At least there was a public official that
just waste taxpayer resources, taxpayer dollars, fucking with people whose kids don't want to go to school. Arrest the parents.
Parenting. I keep going back to that. My siblings and I read, write, arithmetic and multiplication before kindergarten. It's parenting. So when a child is raised with expectations as far as the type of work that needs to be put in before they get to school, then it's kind of coasting because the work is not, the effort is not difficult. It's just learning more information. But it's parenting. It is parenting from the very beginning.
Catalyst, I see your point, right?
No TV.
No, I agree to your point.
Books, it's libraries, it is.
I mean, I had all that. You had all that.
So I guess I see.
Schools at all?
No, schools should be funded, but it is the parents' job to raise and teach their children before they get to school, before they're 6 years old. So the child already has what's expected as far as the effort that's needed to be put in. It is the same parents I've seen. My parents were from the South. They understood that education was a great equalizer being raised in California. So they weren't waiting on anybody to raise their children.
So what if the kid is prepared at 6 years old and they go to an underfunded school and the parents have prepared this kid?
What happens?
You got two working parents. What happens after that?
What happens?
Gruber
was considered barbarian, right? So that's why you were supposed to show modesty by having a small penis, and it showed high intellect, right? So that's what they wanted. So if you have a big dick, you're basically an animal. It appeals to your animal instincts.
Hi, I have a question.
Is this Edmund?
Yes, I have a question for the moderators.
Oh no, is it Edmund?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, this is Edmund. I was looking up hermaphrodites, and with regards to genders, males and females, many people believe that hermaphrodites exist, which is a man that has or a person that has a penis and a vagina. But it turns out there's never been a hermaphrodite born ever, and it's actually just women with enlarged clitorises. Now, before you respond, I know that may be upsetting to some of you, but prove me wrong.
No, you're true. You're actually true. There's never been an actual hermaphrodite as a man. Which is...
So the whatever Khalifa, his name was, the one that won
the boxing, yeah.
The boxing stuff in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
He's just, well, he's a man, but then he's a man with a micro penis then.
Well, technically, almost true. He's a man, and he has testicles, but his genitalia is kind of...
The testicles never came out, I think. They were
exactly, they're stuck in the stomach. But yes, but apparently, not that I have checked, but it seems that he has what looks like a vagina, right? An underdeveloped penis.
No, I don't. Yeah, but that so it's a micro penis.
Yes. But but it's true. In order to be a true hermaphrodite, you need to be able to impregnate yourself, and that there's never been a person that can do that. So
That's because when the penis gets erect, you can't bend it back up into the vagina.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have to be a
small of a penis. Yeah,
it would have to be an internally facing penis.
Edmund, what made you think about all of this?
It's because it's actually gaslighting and triggering to some people. And I was just like, is there such a thing as a hermaphrodite? So if you type it into Google and you look at the images, you'll see a lot of enlarged clitorises. So I think that, just the casual observer may say, oh, this isn't true. It's just, an enlarged clitoris, and they're making a joke saying that this person is a hermaphrodite. But you can go on this app and people will say, no, that's not fucking true. There are hermaphrodites. Of course hermaphrodites have been born before. People get very upset when, they are challenged on the concept of a hermaphrodite.
When we're talking like an enlarged clitoris, are we talking like coffee bean?
No, like hot dog.
Almonds?
Like a tiny sausage. Like a really tiny one.
Mini sausage?
Yeah.
Like hors d'oeuvre?
Like sausage.
Yeah, bacon, exactly. Sausage wrapped bacon.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Sausage wrapped bacon. I like that idea.
I mean sausage wrapped in bacon. My bad.
When you party with me and I get really drunk, I have this trick where I bend my dick back around, and then I close my legs together.
Fruit salad.
Why do you do that?
This is a party trick.
Wait,
and then he goes, will you
like,
fuck me? I will fuck me. Right?
It's like those balloons, the twisty balloons that the clown does at parties and stuff. Yeah.
And then I try to get on your swing team.
If you tuck your wiener and your balls between your legs and then bend over, it's called a fruit salad because it's 2 grapes and a banana.
Thanks, Steven. I knew you were supposed to be here tonight.
Steven, you say
I serve a higher purpose here to inform you of the joke.
But wasn't it
That's
like
funny.
a group that
So you have a very flexible penis, Will?
Oh, yeah.
Now imagine having a penis so long you could actually put it backwards and stick it up your butthole.
His penis is like a very thin pancake.
It's like a portable butt plug. Subscribe. That's what it is.
Stick anything in my butthole.
This conversation is somewhat disturbing.
Yes. No, I was going to say that there's a Norwegian group that travels around and they do art. It's like performance art where they do.
The penis performers.
Yes.
Yeah, they do like the Eiffel Tower, the wristwatch,
Exactly.
You mean like
What?
Zelensky when he was
Okay, can you hold on, Stephen? I mean, like, not all
It's
of
called
us know.
penis
Hold
puppetry.
on, Stephen. Not all of us did know what he was talking about. Alex, continue.
Yes, Isa. So as Stephen said, there is a group that travels around. I think it's 2 men, and they, as a performance piece, they go up on a stage and then they do this balloon art, but with their penises. So they do a thing called the sail, where they stretch out like the scrotum, so it looks like a sailing boat. And then they have another one called the hamburger, where they essentially tuck like the penis within the middle of the balls, and then it looks like a hamburger. I'm pretty sure it's a mockumentary, but
I think they call it penis puppetry, Alex. Is a nomenclature for it. Penis puppetry.
Oh, thank you, Stephen. Thank you. That's exactly.
Isn't the name of this troupe called like Moment Shots?
I can probably Google it and then we'll see if it's true or not.
This reminds me of a clubhouse room, like all clubhouse rooms technically. Is that what's happening here?
Absolutely, it's what's happening here.
So I hate to bring up Israel, your favorite topic, Issa, but did you see there were terrorist attacks on the buses?
I saw when they were doing the autopsies of the 2 kids that they returned. And yeah, a friend texted me talking about this. He said that there were some buses and that apparently they were meant to explode in the morning when they were full, but because, well, it's Hamas and they really are not that accurate, they exploded at night. When thank God, the buses were not full with people.
I'm willing to bet that right now there's a room on Clown House which is already labeling it a false flag propaganda.
I don't
Well,
think
but I mean, I think that after they exploded these buses, they returned the 2 kids dead, and not dead because of a bomb, as they were saying, but they were brutally murdered, according to the autopsies. And on top of that, the mother that they returned is not even the remains of the mother; it's just some random Palestinian. I think that after this is like a huge green light for Israel to go and obliterate them. I would wish that they do.
Yeah, they're not gonna. I do not think they're gonna let Hamas stand. I think they will literally have to fight them to the absolute death in the same way that the Americans fought the Japanese suicide fighters. Like, it's just the same mentality. It's you cannot essentially clean this up. Like, they will fight to the end, and it will be brutal.
I hope so.
Bask in the blood.
I wouldn't be surprised if U.S. soldiers go in there and clean it up.
I actually think that they will, with bulldozers, the spiked metal wheel bulldozers that are as big as a building. I think they'll just level everything out and
That's
start
true.
over.
Yeah, with the enemies in the buildings.
It's not like the construction techniques over there are very good or anything,
You should shut off the water.
Yeah, that's what the Romans did to Vercingetorix, and the women came and were crying with their hands out and were unfurling their hair and begging for the Romans to save them, and the Romans said, "No, get lost, bitches."
Yeah, we're good.
Well, that's what they
Get
shut
lost,
down at the very
bitches.
beginning. Shut down the water and shut down the electricity. I mean, not all of it is coming from Israel, but a big part of it. And it's like, why is Israel being forced to keep their enemy alive? It's ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, if I remember correctly, the Gaza Strip is between 8 or 7 and 25 kilometers wide. So they really do have access. Yes, it is salt water, but they still have access to water. I'm not sure that would work.
It's really the hostages.
Desalinization.
It's the hostages. It is the hostages.
I would encourage them to drink the salt water.
If you read Caesar's war commentaries, literally throughout the whole book, there's a constant exchange of hostages. Constantly. Every single tribe. Between the Gauls, the Germans, and the Romans. Whenever there's an alliance, literally the family members of the leader of that tribe will literally go live amongst Caesar's legion. It's somewhat being protected and somewhat being imprisoned. So if you study history and war, hostages are always involved in war.
Yeah, dude, I get that. Obviously, I mean, it's kind of like leverage. But, I don't know, what's happening in Gaza is beyond normal. I don't think that there should have been a negotiation with those fucking terrorists to start with. I mean, you cannot. How can you sit on a table with them to negotiate? After what they've done, and then on top of that, being forced to believe and trust their word, like. I don't know.
But with no communication, that's even worse. Like, you need to communicate. Otherwise, you really have no intelligence. You have to, because even what they say, I mean, know what they're saying is a lie, but you still need the lie. You need the communication. It keeps them engaged.
Yirmiyahu, honey, how are you?
Hi. Welcome to the stage.
Yirmiyahu, we were just talking about the explosions of the buses and the mom not being the mom. What do you think it's going to happen? Do you think that Israel is going to attack? Go full-blown Gaza?
I think it's inevitable. but not immediately would be my guess. Hey, just to speak, I don't know if that was Edmund that was talking before, if we're being streamed, but I always like to know. But anyway, I just imagine we are probably. But it's good to hear him. I heard what he said a minute ago, just as I walked in now, or plugged into the room, or whatever you say. That he said, taking hostages is part of warfare, and it's been that way for a long time, or maybe for all time, or all wars are done like that. Well, do you know how wars are settled? Wars are settled with a victory and a defeat, and a surrender. And the person that wins, or the country that wins, redraws the map. And those that wage a war from one country to another, the loser, they lose their land, and they leave. And this is how conflicts like this have been solved in the past. In World War II, there was 10 million ethnic Germans that were cleansed out of Europe and sent, out of Poland and out of all these other countries. Millions of people have been moved around this world. It's the only way that wars have been solved. Have lost their privilege to be the neighbor of Israel for what they've done. And until they're removed from that land, we won't have peace. I don't believe that you can negotiate with them to, somehow not want to kill us anymore. I think they've made it abundantly clear. They're parading our dead hostages, our babies, the Beavis babies, on a stage. They're making a big production about it with their freshly pressed uniforms that have never seen combat, because they made those uniforms and put on Adidas tracksuits and pretended to be innocent civilians as they fought.